Good morning, my name is Jordaan and the project is named From the Ground Up, Increasing Adaptive Capacity by Enhancing Existing Systems. The community of Malusi is highly dependent on external networks to provide economic and social services, which limits the community's capacity to adapt to the hazardous effects of climate change. The project proposes a bottom-up approach of enhancing existing networks within Malusi to improve the community's adaptive capacity and climate change resilience. The project will create a node of activity supported by communal facilities to facilitate a process where local residents have the necessary resources and social support networks to improve their own quality of life without the need of continuous intervention by external agents. Malusi is an informal neighborhood located northwest of Pretoria CBD. Over the last 5 years, urban migration into Tshwane has resulted in rapid informal development on the edge of formal neighborhoods. Rapid informal growth has left a community of over 9,000 households without access to basic services, social infrastructure, or adequate housing. Malusi's existing vulnerabilities indicate a high dependence on external sources for basic services and economic opportunities. The dependence on external systems make Malusi less resilient to the effects of climate change. Malusi is ill-equipped to handle the expected increase in temperature, decrease in rainfall, increase in extreme weather events, and increasing urban migration, which will exacerbate the community's existing vulnerabilities. As a group, we analyzed how the effects of climate change could impact the community's quality of life and how these vulnerabilities could possibly be reduced with strategies such as increased flexibility, diversity, agency, and efficient technology. The diagram indicates how the effects of climate change on rural communities will intensify the existing patterns of urban migration, which will exacerbate Malusi's existing vulnerabilities, such as poor living conditions, limited access to water, food insecurity, and unemployment. These 4 factors also contribute to health problems. The project will use the community's existing social capital and the ability to adapt, create, and reuse to facilitate a process of community agency. The project will focus on creating an interconnected network of internal processes by integrating isolated systems into a more complex and resilient system. An analysis of historic development patterns within Malusi indicated a continuous process of organic development, formalization, and then a resurgence of organic densification. Formalization has increased the informal sprawl and diluted economic and social activity. The project proposes to create active nodes, routes, and connectors within Malusi to concentrate economic and social activity. This will stimulate densification and increase proximity to internal support networks and services. The focus area is located at the intersection. This project intends to enhance existing systems such as the use of water points as social gathering places and the existing patterns of agency and appropriation. The project identified 4 main characters from the climate change narratives: the informal street trader, the community leader, the unemployed factory worker, and an unemployed urban migrant. The program aims to increase the adaptive capacity of the community by providing communal facilities to stimulate agency and provide support for existing processes. The program consists of 3 parts: community kitchen, a shared workshop, and informal market space. These 3 components are supported by water collection points, a taxi interchange, and small spaza shops to integrate existing isolated processes and users into a larger system. The diagram illustrates how the main components of the program respond to the vulnerabilities identified in the mapping. The identified vulnerabilities will worsen existing health problems within Malusi. The University of Pretoria COPC unit will provide a clinic to improve access to healthcare services. The proposed program provides complementary programs to the clinic and community garden by placing emphasis on addressing some of the underlying factors contributing to health problems. A site analysis studied existing nodes of activity, main circulation routes, and expected sprawl due to urban migration. The proposed site will link to existing nodes such as the ECD centers, the clinic, the spaza shops, and water collection points. The project proposes to increase the flexibility, improve the technology, promote diversity, and stimulate agency to improve the resilience of new and existing systems. Public and semi-public social spaces will link the 3 main programs: the use of courtyards, pathways, and activated sidewalks. The drawing illustrates the master plan. The 3 main programs are located on the north of the street, and the clinic and the community garden located at the southern side of the street. The existing fabric consists of small informal dwellings that are clustered with interstitial spaces between them. This informed the spatial organization of the design, with small formal structures clustered around courtyards and internal pathways. The project anticipates future sprawl towards the north and densification around the intersection, which will create new routes and courtyards within the existing fabric. The proposed building system promotes appropriation and user authorship while increasing the thermal comfort to combat rising temperatures. The water system collects, filters and stores rainwater to improve the resilience against decreasing rainfall and droughts. The project promotes the existing tradition of reusing local building materials to help residents to quickly rebuild their dwellings after extreme weather events. The design consists of three main components: the water system with gutters and collection points, the fragmented massing defining the edge conditions of social public spaces, and a series of individual roof structures connected to the gutter system. The plan is ordered around three main courtyards with water collection points. The community kitchen links with the street, the courtyards and the ECDs. The workshop links with the courtyard, building material market and a delivery area. Shops and structures for informal traders link to courtyards, pathways and a taxi interchange. The context section shows the community garden on the left, informal trading around the sidewalks and the workshop on the right. A zoomed-in section shows the courtyards between spaces and the caretaker residences on the second story. The street elevation shows the community kitchen, the spaza shop, the informal trading, all connected to the sidewalk. A zoomed-in section shows the different courtyards and pathways between the structures, with lightweight roof structures sloping towards the gutters and that flows towards the water points. The next few pages explore the incremental process of the design and construction process. The architect provides the water collection system, the basic structural support, the steel truss system, and the double roof system. Walls, folding doors, openings, and internal roofs are filled in by local participants. The users can then adapt, expand, and appropriate space according to their needs over time. The double roof system provides thermal comfort by shading and ventilating the cavity in between, and provides flexibility and agency as the users can construct the internal roof according to their needs. The steel truss system improves the flexibility of the design by supporting future adaptation and new structures. The folding doors allow users to adjust their environments and act as a shading device when open. The reuse of found and locally available building materials promotes local authorship and participation. The hybrid water system consists of two processes: collecting rainwater from rooftops, which is filtered by a passive slow sand filtration system to provide water for non-potable uses such as washing and irrigation, while municipal water supply provides clean, potable water. To improve the system's resilience in times of drought and water scarcity, municipal water is stored to provide reserve during water restrictions or interrupted supply. The system has the capability to chlorinate filtered rainwater to turn it into a clean water source when needed. The next few drawings will show how the spatial conditions and social systems of the design affect the four users' ability to adapt to climate change scenarios. In a scenario of increased temperatures, the informal market provides firmly comfortable spaces for social and economic activity, creating ideal conditions for the informal trader and access to local goods and services for the migrant upon arrival. In a scenario of drought and food scarcity, the communal kitchen will get fresh produce from the community garden and provide the cooking equipment for local traders and local residents to cook, sell, and distribute food. In a scenario of decreased rainfall, the water collection points harvest, filter, and store rainwater. The collection points also act as a social gathering place, which will help urban migrants to integrate into existing social systems. In a scenario of displacement, the communal cooking facilities provide equipment and space for migrants and residents to cook for themselves if they no longer have the capability to do so at home. In a scenario of extreme weather events, the building material market facilitates the exchange of used and new building materials to provide residents with local resources to fix, rebuild, or improve their homes after a disaster. In a scenario of increased urban migration, the communal workshop teaches migrants the skills and provides them with the equipment to quickly and cheaply build their homes themselves. In conclusion, the project attempted to increase the adaptive capacity by providing a combination of programmatic, systems-based, technological, and spatial solutions to facilitate the process where the community has the necessary support to address their needs and vulnerabilities themselves. Critical reflection. We should be critical of any project, especially within an informal context, which attempts to improve resilience with the use of complex and highly specific building solutions. It is clear that residents don't need excessive resources to be able to adapt to change. In reality, a site-specific program, participation from locals, and community ownership are much more effective means of creating adaptable and resilient systems. Considering that community engagement was not possible in this case, the project does try to steer away from purely architectural and technological solutions to climate change by focusing on enhancing the existing social and economic systems.